Hello and welcome back to National Busways West Scotland, where it's going to be a much shorter episode than normal probably, because it is currently 23 minutes to 4 in the morning, because I'd gotten most of the way through recording and then my PC ran out of RAM so catastrophically that OBS had to stop in the background and the MP4 file didn't get finalized properly, which meant it corrupted. MP4 is a wonderful format, I love MP4, but it's annoying sometimes. Anywho, so I've decided I don't have time, I don't have the energy to do the rest, to do that all over again. So, yeah, I expanded the map off camera for today's shenanigans, so let's have a look at what we've got. So, up here in the corner is another bit of land with two towns on it, Hunters Quay and Cairn. They are neighbourhoods and villages in the vicinity of Dunoon, which finds itself down about here. Just across the water from Gourock. One of the locks that is in this sort of system of locks up here is Gourock, of Gary Lockhead fame. And as we work our way down the coast, we have Inverkip, Wemyss Bay, Skelmally, Largs, Fairley, West Kilbride, and Seamill before we get into Ardrossan, where we already had a bus in the form of the 771, which is the massive Quicksilver run all the way out to Hamilton. But there's another bit of land over here. This is Cumbray. Cumbray is one of the Western Isles. That's not Cumbray that I'm looking at off to the side. That's Arran. Yeah, this is Cumbray. There's a little town on it called Millport, which we've just got one side of here. I do want to do the Isles in this series, and Millport does actually have a bus route on it in real life. So, yeah, Millport's going to get a bus. It's going to get a little outstation on the island with just that one bus in it. Because the buses on these islands, because normally these islands only have a couple of towns on them, this one only has the one. The bus serves to connect the town to its ferry, because the ferry on Cumbray is up here, but the town is all the way down here. So you want a bus to get people to the ferry, which is actually there, not there. It's there. And the ferry goes over to Largs, which is, I assume it drops off there? Is that right? No, it's there. The ferry runs from there up to there. Just that, backwards and forwards all day. And then the 899, well, this route is going to be the 899, just connects it to Millport. But yeah, that's Cumbray. We'll get to Cumbray. In terms of routes, so context for these routes, because it's not every episode we do one of these. QuickSilver is our network of express routes, very much inspired by London's Green Line buses that it used to have. And I guess you could say kind of inspired by the Superloop, but not really, because it doesn't form a loop. If you want a loop, you want to go to the orbits. But, no, QuickSilver is more like the other Green Line services, but also a bit of Superloop. So, current Green Line network, we have the X3, which runs out to Larkhall via Hamilton. The X4, which runs to Kirkintilloch via Lenzie. The X20 that runs to Cumbernauld via... hang on, where is it? There it is. Yeah, it runs to Cumbernauld, just straight in up the motorway. Very nice. And the X30, that runs from Glasgow down to Wishaw, which is down here. In addition, we have the formerly 2, now 4 QuickSilver services in the 700s range. So I will go to the 2 that we already have. The 701 from Glasgow to Gourock. It's not particularly fast, in that it stops at Langbank, it stops at Bishopton, it stops at Inchinnan, Renfrew and Govan. But that's going to be fixed with the 702, which I put in recording at Ep 1. Comes out of Glasgow and then it joins the motorway and stays on the motorway all the way to Port Glasgow. Then it goes Port Glasgow, Greenock, and then proceeds direct to Inverkip, Wemyss Bay, Skelmorley, and Largs. Then the other route that we had before is the 771 from Ardrossan through Saltcoats, Stevenston, Kilwinning, Irvine, Dreghorn, Crosshouse, Kilmarnock, Gulston, Darvel, Strathaven, Stonehouse and Larkhall into Hamilton. It's an absolute monster. I love the 771 because it's just crazy. And that is complemented, at least between Kilwinning and Ardrossan, by the 727, which runs all stops out of Kilwinning. And then picks up limited stop operations as it runs up along the coast, through to Inverkip, where it diverges from the 702 to serve the coast road, then through Gourock, Greenock, Port Glasgow, where it pops onto the motorway and goes express all the way to Glasgow Airport. So the 702 runs during sort of daytime service hours, up to every half hour, and the 727 runs 24/7 with up to hourly service during the day and every 2 hours on the 24-hour timetable. So yeah, that's fun. As you can see, there's a bus garage in Largs, which is currently home to the fleet needed for these 2 routes. 16 Mercedes Citaros. So let's go back to them and let's have a little look at what I cooked up. This is the new QuickSilver livery. If you don't remember, last week I cooked up a new brand image for National Busways for 2004 onward, and it is this one. It is called New Image, and let's get one to look at in the paint shop. There you go, let's look at you in the paint shop. There we are. So yeah, front doesn't look very different to the old one, but the side, very different indeed. It's a lot chunkier, you know, everything's got a bit more heft to it. It's very nice. We're using Futuro for type now, and I'm also using lowercase now more, for big branding anyway. But yeah, you know, this is where the branding above the door comes from. This is where we move National Busways up to the back of the bus, which comes back in Morse 2, with the National Busways Morse happening sort of back here. You know, and the angle is very similar to the angles of the stripes in Morse 2. So it's, you know, it ties everything together. This is, while it's not that big of a change, certainly from the front, it is a much bigger change from the side, and it lays the groundwork not for the livery revamp after it, or not, you know, not for the livery redesign immediately after it, but for the one after that. So yeah, this is the new QuickSilver brand. The Quick being in the orange, the Silver being in the blue. And then on the orange section of the bus, the Quick is in the sort of very, very light blue, and the Silver remains in this blue. I want to start using this band at the back, this continuation of the stripe, to put the branding in, because that works quite nicely, I think. But yes, and of course we have on the roof standard roof details in Futura this time. LR for Largs and MC for Mercedes Citaro. And also in Futura, National Busways West Scotland Limited on the legals. So, that's all of that. I am 10 minutes in. You know what? These routes are very long, so we might actually get a normal length episode. But I'm going to speed things along very nicely. And I will bring you back when I have something to show you on either the 727 or 702. It's probably going to be the 727. And it's now time to join the first 727 from Kilwinning to Glasgow Airport. Leaving Kilwinning Station at 5, just like that, without me on board. There we go. Get on the first stop out. For the 2¼ hour run to Glasgow Airport. Yes, 2¼ hours. It's a monster. It's an absolute beast. And the game is very much not happy. Because I'm running on the same amount of RAM as my old PC. It's like the one thing that needed upgrading didn't get upgraded. At least the RAM is faster, so stuff that it doesn't need to be in RAM anymore are leaving more quickly. So that's fine, I guess. But yeah, there's only so much you can fix by just making the same amount of RAM faster. Anywho, we have the fast section up the coast through Seamill with 25 on board? Very nice. And through West Kilbride there's another bus going empty. Very nice. I've said very nice a lot. Probably because I'm tired. It's 4:15 in the morning. On the day this goes live, so when I hit stop recording, I can't go to bed. I've got stuff to do. I've got to edit, and then I've got to upload. Although the upshot of tonight's predicament is that I don't need to do time lapses, and while my videos are very easy to edit, the time lapses are the most complicated part. So yeah. Right, where are we? This might be Skelmally? No, this is Largs. We're not at Skelmally yet. No, only just in Largs. At 5:49, that bus there has just come out of the garage to do the 6:03 run of the 7:02. I bet it's going to be endlessly annoying to the people of Largs that the 7:03 departure, that the 07:03 departure from Largs station is a 7:02 and not a 7:03. Because it's annoying me, and I put the route in. I own this bus company. I can change that. Yeah, but I'm going to be stubborn. So no. We're going to have that. And that's just going to be a thing. But we're now coming through Inverkip on the main street. And diverting away from the 7:02, which we'll cover in a bit, through, I couldn't read what's the name of that was, but it looks like it would be a lovely place, so we put the stop there, so that we have a bus stop in a beauty spot on the express route. There's a ferry terminal there, coming into Gourock. Where do the ferries go from that terminal? The ferries go to Hunters Quay, which is one of the towns on the top left corner of the map. There's a couple darts chasing each other through Gourock. Very nice. Chasing each other out of Gourock as well. That's not worked. And we are nearly... Well, we're not nearly there. We're coming through Greenock. This is a really long route. Like, we're about an hour and 3/4 of the way in. An hour and a half left. So we're about halfway there. And I am so tired. But we're just coming out of Greenock now. On the big road. Love the big road. There's a 702 behind us. That'll be the 603 departure from Largs. Because that didn't have to go through Gourock. That went the straight road past Greenock Library. And Branchton. The thinking man's way, if you will. That bus is very full, which is good to see, good to see. Busy bus is a profitable bus. And we're lagging during like a critical phase of this. You know, this is the last stop before the airport, and then it's a 21-minute non-stop run. But no. Game said you have to wait. Well, we've done our waiting. We're good now. We are going to proceed at the world's lowest frame rate. Just kidding, it's done auto-saving, so it's fine now. And also, we both know that it wouldn't be the world's lowest frame rate because, you know, the old PC was a thing. In fact, the old PC is still a thing. It sat next to me in my room, being yet another source of sound dampening, which is always nice. Now, why is that bus getting ahead of us? And I think it's misjudged how long this run should take. Because, yeah, we're late and we're always going to be late if everyone's like that. But we aren't going to leave late. Which is the important part. However, that is that. I'm now going to go into Glasgow and I'm going to find a 702. Because there should be one. Next one's at 8. Okay. Well, there will be one from Largs, so we'll do one from Largs. There we are. So this is going to go at 7:33. There we go. And this is the run into Glasgow. This one might be competitive with the train. It takes just over an hour and a half. So I'm going to see how long the train takes. Real-time trains. Search for Largs. Detailed mode. all day. I don't use RTT that much anymore. I used to use it all the time, but not anymore. Let's pick a random one in the middle of the day. Right, the 10:07. Oh wait, that means there should be a 7:07. There isn't, but there is a 7:28. Which gets to Glasgow at 8:27. So it isn't really that competitive against the train, but the bus would also probably be cheaper. Where are we? We're coming into Branchton now. So, yeah, this is Branchton. Just gone through it. We are a minute late. Not terrible, but also not bad. Well, not terrible, but also not great. Greenock Library. We are now 2 minutes late. The bus station, or Kilbride Street for the bus station, we are on time just. Next is Port Glasgow bus station. This road is so slow now. What's happened? Does it, like, is that actually how fast that road is? Because I feel like it's meant to be quicker because it's a dual carriageway, but evidently not. But now we're coming in to Port Glasgow, and we are arriving at the bus station to leave 4 minutes late. That is not great. At least we have 20 minutes in Glasgow. So, next stop is going to be West George Street, Blytheswood Street at 8:54, supposedly. I have my doubts. Seeing as it's 8:40 and we're just going past Bishopton and Inchinnan. And now coming past Paisley and Glasgow Airport, and that'll be the junction for Renfrew. There's a lot of buses on this particular stretch of road, because there's the 701 and there's the 101, not the 101, the 100. Speaking of the devil, there's a 100 there, there's a double-deckers. And we are 2 minutes late. Not bad, not terrible. Gordon Street Central Station at 8:59. But we're 1 minute late. Then back into like, you know, you saw how we came in there. We came in, we swung around and then went back into the conveyor belt. Do you imagine the air quality in George Square? With all of these, you know, Euro 2 and Euro 3 buses. That's not going to be, the air's not going to be pleasant there. But, what probably is quite pleasant are those runs on Citaros. I love a Citaro. I love a good long run on a Citaro. And Citaros are beautiful in every way. So I'm going to go down to Largs. The new garage in Largs, LR. National Busways, Renfrewshire Inverclyde and QuickSilver. And there's a couple of them left for me to look at. So, I think, on that note, I will see you next week from National Busways West Scotland. And hopefully things will go a little bit better next time.